Hey squad, welcome back. Now today we're delving back into the realm of house music. In fact, we're going to create a tech house vibe right here in Logic Pro. And essentially, I'm building the whole thing with Logic Pro sounds. I'm going to drop in a few extra drum samples to beef things up a bit. And I'm going to lay the analog bass line with my good old Roland Juno 106 to give it that extra bite. Anyway, it's that time. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to kick things off in Logic Pro, and I'm starting by creating a new drummer track. I'm going to select electronic and let's create. In the library, I'm going to choose Leah for my tech house groove. I always like to set my transport bar to custom, like so. And our track tempo is going to be 125 BPM. Let's listen to this drum groove as it is. Okay, cool. It's a bit much for me, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start messing with the parameters down here. Okay, cool. So that's a nice start, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out the kick drum, taking out the snare. I'm going to add a new kick, some claps, and another hi-hat, but I'm going to keep these as a basis for now. But I'm going to mess with the swing as well. I want it to swing even more than it is. Yeah. Yeah. 66%. That's the swing I'm looking for. So let's add our other elements, the kick, the claps, and the hats. So let's create a brand new software instrument track. And this time we're going to introduce a drum machine designer. So come down here and select that. There's our drum machine designer. And we want to select the empty kit. Now I'm going to bring in 3 drum samples that I believe are going to work well for this track. The first thing I'm going to bring in is this house kit. Okay, let's drop that in there. Let's drop that on C1. Okay, and let's have a listen. Okay, cool. The next thing I'm going to drop in is, right, in fact, I've got 2 sets of claps. I've got these claps here, which I'm going to drop on this on D1. And let's have a listen. The other claps are some sort of more natural sounding hand claps. I'm going to drop on E1. Let's have a listen. Okay, and the final thing I'm going to drop in is some open hats. So I will drop these on A#1. So let's audition. Those are my drum sounds. Now all we need to do is program these in, and the drum pattern is really, really simple. So let's create a region right here. Now the kick drum hits on every downbeat in the bar. Okay. Going to increase the velocity. I'm going to give this about 90. Claps on the upbeat on beats 2 and 4. And hand claps as well. And the open hats are on the offbeat. Cool. Command R. Let's repeat this out. Let's create 8 bars. And now I'm just going to adjust the volumes of the elements that are in the drummer track. So what we've got is a bit of layering on the hats and the claps, just to give that extra body. In the mix, we'll make sure that the levels are on point, but for now we're building up the picture of the overall groove. Now, if you've been watching my recent videos on Logic Pro Drummer, there's a wealth of features that you can use in this amazing tool within Logic. Now I'm going to introduce another Logic Drummer instance, and this time I'm going to use one of Logic's percussionists. Just to add some more to the groove, I'm going to use Quincy this time, and let's go through some of these presets. We're adding another layer to this drum percussion rhythm section just to give it that vibe. bring the swing up again to 66%. So it swings even harder. I might take some of these out. I might take some of the volume down in the mix. But yeah, we're getting there. I will refine that later on, but once again, we're just using the tools that are already available to us within Logic to build the picture, and on top of this foundation, everything else will be laid. So let's move on to the next section. Hey squad, just reminding you that if you're interested in a personalized online one-to-one tuition session or a consultation, just head over to my website, musictechtraining.com, and complete the contact form with your details and your requirements, and I'll be happy to get right back to you. Okay, let's crack on with the video. Okay, so before we move on to adding the next set of layers on top of this rhythm section, let me show you what I've done. I've separated out all of the main drum parts. So my kicks, my claps, and my hats are on individual tracks like so. And on the kick drum, I'm using the Waves Tony Maserati DRM plugin. I've also got all of the drums and percussion routed through to a bus, a drum bus, which is bus 30. And on there, I'm using the Maserati GRP group bus processor, which is great for programmed drums just such as this. So have a listen to what the drums sound like now, all going through to a bus, and where I'm happy with the leveling. Okay, that's sounding really good, nice and tight, and these plugins are gluing things together to give the drums a full-bodied sound. The next thing I'm going to add now is a synth part. I've created a brand new software instrument track, and over here under synthesizers, EDM chords, decay mod chords, we've got this sound. I've added stereo delay, and I've also added Logic's auto filter. I'm going to put that part down, and then I'm going to add one more synth section to it. Okay, now before adding the second synth section, I've gone in and I've modified the velocity of these notes. So have a listen. So it's a bit darker and a lot more moody, and that's going to work a lot better with these drums. Yeah, that's sounding better. Let's put down the second synth. Okay, so for the second synth sound, I'm using a patch from Alchemy, and this one is called Behold Atlantis. Have a quick listen. Real simple, just 2 chords. But let's make things more interesting. I brought in the Logic Fat Effects. Let's switch that in. Oh, nice. The other thing I've done is I've brought in Logic's auto filter. And I've also got an instance of the Nicky Romero Kickstart 2 running the demo version. So let's hear this with the rest of the stuff. Oh, that's sounding real good. All I've got left to do now is add the bass line and my vocal sample, and then 1 or 2 little touches, and then we're in business. So let me hook up my Juno 106 analog synthesizer so I can get that bass line in, and then we'll be cooking. I really do love it when I get the opportunity to incorporate some good old-fashioned analog synthesis into productions, and here's a great chance to do so. So The bass line is going to go like this. Okay, so now the bass line is in. I want to show you how I'm controlling it. I'm using two important plugins right here. The Waves Maserati B72, which I covered in a recent video, as well as the Waves Max Bass. Now this is great for controlling those sub-harmonic frequencies, and in combination, they really pull this synth bass together, keeping it nice and tight and punchy. Okay, so we're almost there. We're going to wrap things up with a vocal sample, do a quick mix, and export. But before we do that, I had this idea for a very simple bass riff, and the sound I'm using is from Alchemy. It's the analog funk bass, and I've just lengthened the attack time and added a little bit of glide as well, and this is what the pattern sounds like. I've introduced an instance of Logic's stereo delay. Have a listen to what this is now adding to the vibe. And just a nice little touch interjecting every so often. Okay, I'm going to put our vocal sample on top. I'm going to do a quick mix, a quick master, and we'll play out. But if you can figure out where I got the sample from, make sure you put it in the comment section. As usual, if I'm bringing you value, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and drop me a super thanks as well if you feel what I'm bringing you is worthwhile. Until next time, I'm Deuce, I'm out. Peace.